Three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
Yes, in the words of Alex Boone right before we turn on the microphones here, let's go, dickheads.
Let's go, dickheads.
You're so aggressive on a Monday.
Well, you know what?
You're so aggressive. Your Chiefs lose, and your little heart breaks.
Feel everybody going, see, Patrick Mahomes is human. You know what? You're all fucking haters. How about that? And you can all go be haters in your own room.
Sensitive. That's a huge sensitive.
You want to hear sensitive? I've been holding back.
That's a sensitive, my man. You're just starting the show off hot here.
Let's go.
So let's get in. All right, I'll throw out the first mic. If you're new to the show, welcome in.
26,000 subs. We hit it.
Hell
we
yeah.
hit 26,000. Yep, right before I checked it. Checked it right beforehand. 26K. Love you all so much. Thank you so much.
Can we get to 30K before the Super Bowl? Or
That's
before
the goal.
The Monday after the Super Bowl.
That is the goal. 30K.
2 more months.
30K and Mackey will get a tattoo of something.
I'll get a YouTube.
No, you got to get an O-Line Committee tattoo right here.
Right here above your heart.
Subs. Yeah, right. We get 30 subs.
You know,
before your Score North tattoo, I want an O-Line Committee.
Oh,
my amazing wife has over 20 tattoos, and I have 0. And she's been asking me for like 3 years, very patiently. But come on, Phil.
We'll push her in.
Let's start.
Seriously, at some point, Phil. Jesus Christ, cross over the line.
You get one, and then you start getting a bunch.
They don't stop, and then your whole arm's covered.
But what's funny is we've got some lists of like some brainstorming of things from my life and family and dead parents and things, and it's going to wind up being like a Tennessee Titans or O-Line Committee tattoo.
Could be a New York Jets tattoo. You're going to God damn it.
Oh man!
So I start with Mike.
Let me throw out the first mic because I want
you want the first mic?
Yeah, he does. Go ahead. Calm down. Your lions will come, douchebag. God damn it!
So sensitive this morning.
God. Here we go.
Let's do the Bills Chiefs. So my first mic is football fans and media, and I'm calling everyone out here because
including yourself.
I don't think I've been guilty of this, quite frankly. But I recluse myself.
Narcissist.
But here's the problem with our football viewing society. For the last 7 years, all we've done with Josh Allen is poke at the fact that he can't get past Patrick. We're literally watching one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL. Like he might be right now one of the 10 best quarterbacks, physical talent, numbers, all this stuff. Boone's looking at me like I'm sideways.
He's like 5. You're showing 10. I'm like, no, he's up at like 5.
All time?
Dude, why are you even going? Oh, I thought you meant right. I think you said right now.
No. All time.
Oh, I thought you said right
all
now.
Time.
All time. Like from the beginning of time.
He is a modern day John Elway, and in 5 or 6 years, when the counting, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and yet the discussion surrounding him overwhelmingly every single year is, well, but he can't. Here's why he's somehow less than, or why he is somehow incapable because he can't beat the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm glad that the Bills won yesterday, just so people can talk about Josh Allen in a different light. Even though technically it doesn't really mean anything until you get to January. I'm just saying, like, we're watching John Elway right now, and people don't appreciate it.
We do.
That's
we
my
definitely
first
appreciate it. Listen, we definitely appreciate it because he is slippery as shit, tough as. He did the old face mask, stay away for a second while I get rid of this ball, and then on 4th and 2, we have the trust in him to get us a first down. But not only that, but then to run for a touchdown. Like, there's no question. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're like 3-0 against the Chiefs in the regular season, aren't they?
That's
Here's what it is, Mackey. You're not thinking wrong. We all love Josh. It's do you beat him when it matters? Because he's 0-3 in the playoffs versus him. And that's why your legacy goes down. And we're not mad. It's just like, hey, if you can't beat the man, then you're not the man. And that's where it comes down to is. But I think that's not even the issue. We've relied on him for so much. We need him to do so much when it's like, where's James Cook been? When all of a sudden he's showing up in this year and we're like, okay, this is starting to look a lot better. You get Shakir out there. You got Knox out there. You trade for Amari Cooper, who, by the way, you dirty bastard. Did you see that catch?
Yeah.
And did you see the hit that Josh took? That's why I have always loved Josh. And I've always been the first one on the podium. Like, listen, if you're a badass and you can take a shot and throw a ball, dude, welcome to the club. I'll do whatever you need me to do. And that's why I've always loved him. But you got to beat him in the playoffs. And that's what's so hard, Mac.
Well, first of all, Josh is playing at an MVP caliber season.
For sure.
Right. I mean, I think with the performance of Lamar Jackson yesterday versus the performance of Josh Allen, Josh Allen has surpassed Lamar in the MVP race right now.
I would
because just to your point, Boone, the supporting cast that Josh Allen has versus the supporting cast that Lamar Jackson has couldn't be more different. Dude, I'm watching Mac Hollins and Curtis Samuel and Shakir, right? You turn on the Ravens and it's like, oh, there's Derrick Henry, there's Zay Flowers, that's a first-round pick.
Mark Andrews.
There's Mark Andrews.
Isaiah Likely.
Right? Like the weapons just go on and on and on. But Josh has, since he got drafted that organization in 2018, and I was with him when he got drafted, right? I was at that team. You could just feel that this dude was different.
I'm sure.
You've been around those guys, Boone.
Oh, yeah.
Dalvin Cook was one too in Minnesota, right? When he walked in, you were like, different cat, right? Like different dude. You're going to be a guy, not just like a contributor, but a dude in this league. And they handed the keys of $1 billion organization over to a very young Josh Allen, fresh out of Wyoming. And yeah, he struggled and went through it, but you could just feel that he was the guy, and I could not be more happier for him to have those type of moments like he did yesterday where he just put the Superman cape on, just bop, 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 pinballed his way into the end zone. Like that was a game
dude with him.
That was a game that I wish I was in the parking lots for after the game, right?
Yes.
There was bonfires everywhere. I guarantee you, bonfires everywhere, drunk people everywhere. Like the scene outside of Orchard Park last night is still going. Those people are still partying wee into the afternoon of Monday.
Did I see a sign that was maybe, I don't know if this, I just saw this on the internet somewhere. I think it was from that game yesterday. It was someone hung a sign from like the upper deck that said Patrick Mahomes eats boneless buffalo wings with ranch.
That's a major insult in Buffalo. Major. You ask for boneless and ranch, they will tell you no. I've been at a place where like they asked, hey, one of the guys who's not from there, obviously, because no one's from Orchard Park. And they're like, oh, I'll take, can I get some ranch with that? And they go, no. And he's like, oh, like, we make our own dressing in-house, and it's blue cheese, and that's what we serve our wings with. And they're like,
or you can leave. Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Okay. Like they do not fuck around.
They're hardcore in Buffalo, and you got to respect that. But I agree, dude. Great win, great game, super.
Do they have the roster to make a run though? That's my biggest question, because I know when it comes to January, it's a war of attrition. Right. Coleman's already hurt. Can Amari Cooper stay healthy at his age with what they're going to need him to do? They're like Spencer Brown got hurt either last week or this week. They're starting right tackle. Dion got rolled up at one point in this game, and I was like, dude, it's starting to compile. Like defensively, they've lost Matt Milano.
But aren't they getting guys back defensively? They're starting to get them back, right? They're going to like in the next couple of weeks. But listen, yeah, of course they have the roster.
I just don't know if they have the roster to make.
You do. Man. Listen, you trade for Amari Cooper. He's made some great catches so far. So the synergy's already bopping. I love the way this is rolling. I never worry about their O-line. You could tell me Deion Dawkins got laid out by a Mack truck. I'd be like, that motherfucker's going to be.
I'm getting him on the pod, by the way.
Dude, he's a badass.
I want to get Deion on the pod before the Jets week, because there's bad blood.
Yo, let's get it. Let's do it. Get it done.
In the Jets game. I was at that Jets-Bills game. When they went to victory formation, they pulled Deion off the field because he knew he was going to start shit after the game. And then as soon as the game was over, like 4 security guards from the Bills were running to the locker room with Deion because him and Michael Clemens literally looked like they were going to fight each other. I'm going to find a way to get him on before.
Get him on here. I mean, dude, their O-line is great. James Cook in the backfield. He's starting to look like his brother when he was running through people. Yeah, do I want to get less hits on Josh Allen? Absolutely I do. But until I see him slow down or I see him wince or I see him do something, I'm going to be like, dude, this kid loves it. He's from Wyoming. Let this dude run into some cattle, have some fun.
I think California, but he played at Wyoming. Close enough.
I thought he was, same thing. Same damn thing.
I mean, if you're willing to go play college football in Wyoming,
you might as well go run into some cattle and do your thing.
It's in your core.
The city needs this, though, man. They do need. The question is, can they do it in December?
Well, this was a huge part to that, because now they only have one game. They're only one game behind the Chiefs, right? And they have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs now. So, I mean, there's a lot of pressure put on the Chiefs in order to keep home field advantage through Arrowhead, and their schedule doesn't really get any easier as we roll through here, but neither does Buffalo's. The good news is they have to play the Jets, they have to play Miami, they have to play New England. Like, their schedule, in my opinion, is more favorable to win more games in the back end for the year there than the Chiefs.
Yeah. Don't forget about the Steelers putting pressure on everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, we should get to that game in a second.
We will.
My last thing on Josh Allen is he's 28, and
Young.
it's social media contributes to this, and idiots like us on podcasts and YouTube and stuff. But and Lamar Jackson too. We act like, boy, if a guy's been in the league for 5 or 6 years and he's a couple years away from 30, that he's a finished product, or that his legacy is this is it right here, and now he can't get it done in the big game. I guarantee you, before the end of their careers, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are going to account for multiple Super Bowl rings. Multiple.
For sure.
I
agree.
It's going to happen multiple times over, and we should just enjoy what these dudes are doing right now. End of my soapbox.
I like it.
All right, who wants the next mic?
I'm with it. Go ahead, Jay.
I got a mic.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
The Daniel Jones era has come to an end for my New York Giants. My son's favorite team. My son's favorite team, somehow, some way, has come crashing back down to earth. They've realized that it's not going to happen. He's not the guy. And for some reason, we're bypassing the guy who's been the backup quarterback all year long and going straight to Tommy Cutlets. And I don't necessarily know why, or maybe some excitement for but no one is happier than Tommy DeVito's agent, who's going to be right back on TV next week in the fedora, the whole bit on the sideline, rocking his thing. But man, what a mess the Giants are in now. And now I'm seeing that this kind of split. There's some stories that are coming out that it all kind of started with the Hard Knocks documentary, right? How they were like flirting with someone described it as they were flirting with other quarterbacks or flirting with another date while their date was still at the table, right? When they're talking about that. And so it makes me think that maybe the Hard Knocks people are going to have a really hard time getting a team to bite for next year, because it does give that unlimited access. And obviously
the Saquon conversation.
I mean, now Saquon's calling them out on post Thursday Night Football. Like, it's a tough time to be a Giants organization. I hope Dable can keep his job. I do think Dable's a good coach. He just got kind of handed a tough thing. Ed Donatel made him have to pay Daniel Jones. Now the question, they're already going to be, okay, is it Shadir Sanders? Is it Denzel Ward? That is the question that is now on everybody's mind in New York, is who's going to be the quarterback of the future.
All right. I'm still, are you like blown? Is this blowing your mind that they're benching him, or are you legit? Well, I mean, why they're really? I know clearly. Yeah, I'm not an idiot.
Okay, well, they're going because of the money, the incentive guarantees. It's the Russell Wilson from the Broncos last year.
Right.
His injury guarantees kick in this week. Right.
That's why he's. By the way,
are we sure that Joe Schoen's
quarterback
going to be safe this year? Are we sure
Joe
that GM's safe? Yeah.
I mean, you got to think he's actually hit pretty well on his draft picks. Kayvon Thibodeau's done a nice job. They came in, they picked up Malik Neighbors, right? Like, he's done a decent job drafting. Daniel Jones kind of was put in a corner. What do you do when you're a new GM and you have a quarterback that takes you into the playoffs and wins a playoff game? Do you really let that guy walk?
No, I know.
No, put ourselves back in that position. Like when they beat the Vikings and Alex owed me a steak dinner.
And I paid.
Do you actually have the balls as a new GM to say, we're moving on? It was an impossible position for him to be put in. I don't think he's on the hot seat. I think he has to draft the right quarterback, and he and this quarterback, whichever one they draft in the first round this year, their careers will be intertwined through the rest of their tenure as a Giant.
You know who I feel bad for? I feel bad for the rest of the Giants, because you're just going into every game like, please, God, living on a prayer, man. Just Bon Jovi in this thing.
If I'm an O-lineman, though, I'm like, well, maybe we'll run the shit out of the football now.
You're not. You're gonna, you just drafted Malik Neighbors.
You're not letting Tommy sit back there and sling that thing 50 times a game. You're out of your mind.
I think you're gonna have to keep some people happy on the outside at the same time. So it's gonna be like, listen, guys, it's gonna get interesting.
Yeah. What are your goals? Because if you talk about Shadir Sanders, the best path to get Shadir Sanders in a Giants uniform is to let Tommy DeVito throw the ball 50 times a game between now and the end of the season.
I think that's what they want him to do. No, it's funny because this video keeps popping up on my Instagram, and it's this one scout, and I got to find out who this kid is from the Giants that's like sitting in the corner, and it's almost like a Moneyball style scene, and he's like, question. Are we sure that no one's going to pay Saquon this kind of money? And Joe's like, well, yeah, who would be stupid enough to do that? He's like, but are we sure? Because a Saquon adds value like even behind a Philly O-line. He even said that, and I was like, wow, you got your assistants doing your fucking work for you on national TV. That's not good. That's not good. And you can say whatever you want. He was handcuffed. He was hamstrung. They put him up against the wall with a knife to his neck and said, force him to sign this contract. At the end of the day, the owners can turn around and be like, that's right. He's made a few mistakes. Done a few bad things here. I'm just saying.
The owners were involved in that conversation too.
Clearly, but it's the same thing. They're never going to take fault. They're going to be like, you told me that nobody would pay him. It's your fault.
So who's more on the hot seat, Joe Sheen or Brian Dable?
Oh, Sheen, you make all the decisions. You made all the decisions. All the decisions. The book, boop. You close it. You open it. You're the one that's doing it all. Hey, transactions today. Let me see. I'll stamp that one. I'll stamp this one. Dayball's just like, hey, who'd you get me? What you got for me? Nothing.
Yeah, I'll answer that. I think I look at the first year of Daboll where they won 10 games or whatever it was, won a playoff game with, again, Daniel Jones as the starting quarterback. And I think like the last 2 years, I think Brian Daboll's doing a really crappy job. And I think I kind of want to see Brian Daboll with a good quarterback.
So do I. Dude, when he was with Josh Allen.
We have seen it. We saw it with Josh Allen.
It was insane.
And that's the other part of me who wants a young rookie quarterback for Daboll because of he's already proven what he could do with Josh Allen.
Dude, everything's
give him a young quarterback that he can mold. Right, you have Andrew Thomas as a left tackle. Luminor's played really well as a right tackle. You got John Michael there in the middle. You paid Runyon, right? They need to get another guy in there, right guard. Van Roten's like 35, so he's probably only a stopgap guy. But Malik Neighbors, Jalen Hyatt, right? This Tracy guy's coming along. Like the pieces are put in play, but as you know in this league, you're only as good as your quarterback, right? You're only as good as your quarterback. So I want to see Brian Daboll with a young quarterback. I want to see it, and whether that's Shadur, Cam Ward, or whoever it is, they need to sell out and get a quarterback, and that's what Joe Sheen's gonna have to do to save his job.
Well, I think that's what you're really looking at is. If you're going to go in and fire this guy, but he's already like, listen, we're all on the same page where we need to get a quarterback, then it's like, do we really need to fire him? Because he clearly gets the memo. The next guy's going to get the same exact memo. We're all getting the memo. Like maybe you're right. Maybe nobody loses their job. It's just frustrating because as a teammate and a player on that team, you're just like throwing your head against the wall. Like I got to go beat my head into a wall for nothing for the next 8 weeks.
But it goes back to the conversation we had, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago about I think it was a dumb football question. Like, how do you show up to work? You're playing for your job.
Oh yeah.
Right. And that's the other piece of this. When you bench your starting quarterback, that is a message to all other 52 people on that team. We're looking to get better, right? How many times we're going to upgrade at that position? We're looking to get better at that position. Every single person on that team, besides maybe Dexter Lawrence, is playing for their job.
For sure.
Right. There's a couple guys that are safe, but everyone is playing for the job because if you're replacing the quarterback, you're looking to upgrade at just about every other position on the team too.
And that's exactly what that message means. This dude makes $40 million and we're not afraid to sit his ass down. And honestly, we're sitting him down because it is the money situation. So if you think you're better than this, we'll sit your ass down for money. Like it almost becomes a weird situation where everyone's kind of looking around like, are they mad at me too? Are they mad at us? Like, I know they're mad at him. Are they mad at us too? Like you're trying to go through your position coach. Like, hey,
what's the vibe?
They talk about us at all lately?
What's the vibe upstairs?
They giving you shit upstairs?
You heard anything? You heard anything lately?
It's ugly, man. It's ugly. But sucks to be Giants. I feel bad, and obviously, even to be Daniel Jones, that's got to be shitty. But
from a player standpoint,
that's hard though, man.
Like from a taking the cap off of media pundit, taking the cap off of an agent, taking the cap off of whatever it is, just putting myself back in an NFL locker room. He's in a tough place. Yep. Like that's a hard freaking place to be as a human, as a player, as a competitor. Like you can shit all over Daniel Jones for his performance or whatever, but man, to know you have to come into work every single day and you were the guy and you let your team down essentially, and they're going to blame it on you, man, that's a really tough place to be as a player.
And to know that like you're not regarded as a starter by the league going forward too. Like your life and career. And now financially,
I've taken a huge step back.
Financially, you're fine.
Right.
But
then that never gets brought up, honestly. But it does. And you see those guys and you're like, you kind of feel like obviously it's different now. We're in this world where we kind of poke and we have fun and we do things. But in that moment when people got benched and people got cussed out, we were quick to be like, hey, you can come in here and hang out with us if you want. Like, there's no judging in this room. We're not allowed to do that here. But you feel for those guys because you're like, you see everybody's eyes looking at them and everyone's thinking the same thing. If you could just throw a fucking ball, we'd have won a game or two. And it's like, That's gonna be rough for the next 3 months. All right, boys, let's do this.
So you guys do feel some empathy in the locker room. It sounds
dude,
like, huh?
everyone. I've been benched. Alex has been benched. It sucks. Like, it sucks.
So if Evan McPherson came walking in, you guys would
no, kickers don't count.
No,
I have a whole
don't worry.
sticky note.
Listen,
I have a whole
listen.
sticky note of missed kickers. Missed kickers this week because I'm coming for you. I'm coming for your head, boys.
That mic comes later. Don't worry about that. But no, we agree. But all right, listen, new mic. Here we go. This is a team. Didn't even know this team was still going, but they're going. Not only did I not know they were going, I didn't even know they had this guy on the team. Taysom fucking Hill coming out of nowhere. Where have you been? My God, comes out like 400 yards in one game. Like, yeah, I'm still here, guys. And all of a sudden you're looking at this like, wait a minute, what the fuck has this team been doing the whole season? By the way, you're kind of in a shitty division. You could have been running the whole thing, but the Saints, man, coming out of nowhere. You got an interim head coach, and this always happens. Jay and I've talked about it. Like, the minute that the asshole leaves, everyone's like, finally, we can breathe. And they're like, and you know what we're going to do? A double reverse pass. And people are like, finally, we can have fun. They did, man. They went to town. And by the way, I've been wanting to say this for weeks, but Alvin Kamara is so special.
So underrated.
He is so underrated. Like, I've been watching their games low key because, you know, I'm a Trevor Penning fan. And watching Alvin Kamara, you're like, this dude is fucking. I'd pay him whatever he wants. I'd give him whatever he wants. You
is
can
he
have
the
it.
oldest 29-year-old football player in NFL? It feels like that dude has been around for 15
Forever.
years.
Dude, but
and
he
he's only
moves
29.
like a rookie. Like, he's still shifty. He's still got everything. And then when you throw that three-headed beast in the backfield, you're like, wait a minute. They got Taysom over there. They got some really good receivers. Chris Olave. All of a sudden, you start throwing in some Kamara. You're like, holy shit, Dante Pettis from the Niners. That's where you went. Like, all of a sudden,
Don't forget about wide receiver one, Valdez-Scantling.
Dude,
from the bench, dude, from the couch,
nowhere.
like, just comes in and just
shows up with a huge TD. Like, yeah, you know what? I was catching it from Aaron. Now I'll catch it from you. I can do this all day, dude. I've always been a fan of his, just because he's been so low key. Even when he was playing with Aaron Rodgers, like, I feel like he was the most underrated dude on the team. But he always caught the ball, always made big plays. Dude, I'm excited for the Saints, man, especially because I will never bet on Kirko to win again after fucking getting slam-basted. And now all of a sudden the Saints are starting to look good, and you're like, oh man, this is going to be a really interesting NFC South.
Let's do an NFC South thing real quick here, because one of the things I wanted to bring to you guys today was just teams that aren't dead yet.
Yeah.
And I'll give you one of them right now. You mentioned the Saints. I think
the
Saints,
they're dead.
Fuck you, dude. Did you watch that game? Nobody's dead. It's not even December. Nobody's dead. Dude, I was watching the ESPN the other day, and they put in the hunt. One of the teams was 2-8, and I was like, everybody's alive. Everybody's fucking alive right now.
In the hunt, BYU.
Yeah.
Apparently Florida State came out of nowhere.
Taysom Hill, by the way, averaged 20 yards a carry. I think it was like 7 carries for.
I'm all about it. I'm here for
touchdowns.
it.
But
give him
why?
the ball
So
more.
why is it that Alvin Kamara, when you talk about the great running backs in the NFL, right? It's Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and it's like and then Kamara.
Because it's not on the ground as much as it is.
Is that what it is?
Dude,
Is it
his
his
screen
receiver ability and is it like? I mean, his contact balance might be the best in the NFL.
Easily, without
like
a doubt.
the way that he bounces off tackles, keeps his legs moving. Like I put him up there against the Saquons of the world with that.
For sure.
And he's been doing that since he got into the NFL.
He's more of a scat back. I mean, if I asked you, this is year 8 for him. If I asked you guys how many 1,000-yard seasons has Alvin Kamara had?
7.
2. Rushing?
0.
Just rushing?
0?
Rushing 0.
Oh, I thought you meant like.
But that's the thing where he makes up ground
yards.
is he's caught 560 career passes for almost 5,000 yards.
Dude,
that's nuts.
That's what's so fun about having a running back that can be a receiver, right? Like the Christian McCaffrey. He's not just lethal when I hand him the ball. He can find space. You know where they've always thrived with him? The screen game. Like, he's quick at like showing up and then disappearing and then showing back up, and you're like, holy shit, where'd he come from? And he's very elusive. The offensive line has a great chemistry with him. I know they've been through it, but I'm not counting them out. Like, I know, kind of goes back to what we said about Daniel Jones. The minute the head coach got fired, what did that do? Put everybody on notice. You're everybody. Now, not only did we bench the dude, we fired the head coach. So now you are all expendable to me. And that's when all of a sudden you're like, could you see an upswing and take? Now, here's what'd be interesting, and I don't know the answer to this. When was the last time an interim head coach took a team to the playoffs?
Wow.
Boom.
Let me see
Hit me with something fucking awesome. Who wants a steak and a beer bet right now? Right fucking now. I'm in for it. I'm here for the madness.
Okay. According to
the Google machine,
only 2 teams in NFL history have made the playoffs with an interim head coach. The 2021 Raiders.
Oh, Antonio. No, not Antonio Pierce. Who was it? It was McDaniels got fired, right?
Was it Rich Bisaccia?
Yes, Bisaccia.
Rich Bisaccia.
I gotta take a call. Be right back.
Okay, agent stuff here. We'll take them off screen. I got you. And then the other one, the 1961 Houston Oilers.
Anything with the Houston Oilers, I am for. Yeah,
man.
I'm a steak and a beer bet away from wanting to do this with you guys. I'm feeling a little electricity from down there, and
I think here's my take. I love where you're going because we both came on the show sensing that there's blood in the water in the NFC South after yesterday. I think the Buccaneers are the team to keep an eye on more. I know they're 1-5 since they started 3-1, but they had a bye week this week, and so they're sitting around watching the Falcons do that. I mean, the Falcons were getting their asses kicked so badly that Michael Penix came in with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Dude, and
if you look at the Bucs, so the Bucs are 1 game back. They're 4-6, right? Let me pull this up.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now.
They're 4-6. Tampa is 6-5, so they're a game and a half back of Atlanta. They're a game and a half back. But here are the next 3 games for the Buccaneers: Giants, Panthers, Raiders. If they can go 3-0 in those games, get back over 500. I don't think the Falcons are winning that division. I guess that's my take here.
Dude, that's just last week. I don't know, man. That was not pretty. I just this division is so up in arms right now, and it really would be a 2-horse race for me. And I would be like, yeah, sure, Tampa could get a hold of themselves. They hit their bye week. They've had some really bad luck. Like, dude, that Atlanta game, they played them twice early in the season, and both those games were fucking crazy. I could see that, but then all of a sudden you're kind of like, I don't know, man. The Saints really, they do have Kamara, and they are starting to show that, hey, we have another guy in the field. Like, I don't know if anyone noticed, but they were using Taysom Hill everywhere. And that all of a sudden started to remember, like, in my mind, I started being like, which area of the field are we not covering? Because that's what these guys are going to start looking for now, right? Like, where's the area in the field that these guys are exposing? Let's put Taysom there somehow. Let's find a way. Or let's give Taysom the ball in a reverse and go find somebody that can find that open space. Like, there's just so much more to be had. And that's where you look back at this offense and you're kind of like, the fuck have these guys been all year? Now, I know they started out and they were kicking teeth. Like the Panthers, dude, chill. The Panthers, okay? It was like the first game we were all like, I think we even said, burp, hold up.
Yeah.
Then they won week 2, and we were like, okay, maybe we got a thing. And then they went on a losing streak, and we were like, oh, this is not good, right? Like, this is not going to end well with them. But it's the same thing. It's the coach down there. It's what they believe.
Derek Carr can also play. He's kind of a punchline, but like he can sling it and make some plays. Dude, he'll pop up and just be like one of the best quarterbacks in the league for 3 weeks, and then he'll short circuit. And,
agreed. Yeah, you have to be consistent. But in that division, it's so easily gettable that you're kind of looking at it like, man, I guess it's now become a little bit of a 3-horse. In my mind, it has been.
Yeah. Okay, I think we should let's save some of the kicker stuff for when Jay comes back. I'll give you a new mic here. I'll give you a new mic. All right. Let's get into the Ravens and Steelers here.
Oh, I am here for that madness.
So here's what's kind of crazy.
By the way, how did the bets go this weekend?
Well, you had Steelers, right?
Oh, come on.
Do you have it in front of you?
No. I just know that I picked the Steelers, and that was what I remember. You guys kept texting me on Thursday, like, you need to make your picks, and it was that was the only game I was like, dude, I believe in Mike Tomlin. I believe that somehow he's going to find a way to get this done. And you know who I really believe in the most? And I said this after week 1 when they beat Atlanta, Chris Boswell. I am here for that kicker, and only that kicker right now. The rest of them can go fucking pound sand because they suck.
You had Eagles over Washington solo too, so you were. I think you're pretty. Oh, you had Chiefs though.
I told you.
You can find the O-line committee picks on the O-line committee Instagram account.
I'll die on that Chiefs hill forever. But yeah, dude, the Steelers Ravens game, boy, that made the NFC North super exciting, didn't it? But not only that, but then you think about how the Steelers are still in contention for the first place. And I have to remind myself at times, like, man, they're really, really good, but this team scares the fuck out of me.
The Steelers do?
Yes, they do. And I'll be very honest with everybody. Mike Tomlin makes me feel warm and fuzzy, super cozy. I'm not worried about the defense. Like, those dudes are going to play as hard as they fucking possibly can. It's on offense. At times, they just stall out for no reason. And you're like, dude, you've been driving all the way up and down the field. Where the fuck is George Pickens? Just hand it to Najee Harris. Why can't we just keep doing what we've been fucking doing? Where's Freiermuth? Like, it scares me. But they're still in contention for the first place seed, which still blows my fucking mind. Like, it blows my mind. Like, the Chiefs don't scare me at all because I'm like, any given day. And every single person says it at this point. Like, even when they asked Josh Allen, they're like, well, you give the ball back to him. He needs 9 points. You know he's going to get his 9 points somehow. Like, you just know it, right? But when you even look at the Bills, Josh Allen, he can make things happen. If he's not going to do it, he's going to run it. Like, if I can't throw it or sidearm it or fucking do a backflip and get it done, I'll run it in. But this Steelers offense is just, I love them, but they drive me nuts because it's like, guys, you can't go into December and January just kicking field goals the entire game. It's not going to happen because you're going to play a Lamar Jackson again when it's not going to be favorable conditions for you, and all of a sudden he's going to be running everywhere. Or you're going to play a Josh Allen who's going to spread your way out and do whatever the fuck he wants. Like, there's so many things to this. It just drives me nuts.
They also have, I don't know, there's something, they've got something on Lamar Jackson. When Lamar Jackson starts a game against the Steelers, his last win came in October of 2019. So it's been 5 years since Lamar Jackson has beat the Steelers. He's 1-4 all time against the Steelers. And so he has a 100 career passer rating, but it's 66.7 against the Steelers.
Dude.
So whether it's the way they contain him, or Mike Tomlin's secret sauce, they have a good beat on Lamar Jackson and how to contain him more than any other team in the league.
And you think he would. He's a great coach. You play them twice a year. Obviously, anybody you see twice a year, you're going to have so much knowledge on them. And at the same time, you know how to contain them. You know how to shut them down. I mean, don't get me wrong. They still made plays. Isaiah Likely was there. King Henry's still running the ball hard as shit. It's just at the end of the day, they bottled them up in the red zone. And it was like, oh, man, this is what they're going to live on. Jay, we were just talking about how we love the Steelers. Well, I love the Steelers, but they drive me nuts. Like, they're in contention for the first place AFC position spot, yet their offense makes me feel very gross and dirty. And I'm like, I just can't. I can't be here for it when it all goes crumbling down. Like, I feel like this is when I was like, no, the Vikings are going to beat the Giants. And you were like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And I was like, see, I've seen the error in my ways. And I'm like, this reminds me a little bit of that. Can't score tutties. Can't hear you.
The defense for the Steelers is unbelievable.
That's we just said,
right?
And
so I agree with you. At the end of the day, like, you talk about that Vikings team in 2018. No, it was 22, wasn't it?
Oh, 22.
Well, where they won a bunch of close games.
Where they won a bunch of close games and lost to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is that 22?
Mm-hmm.
Right. The difference there is there was not. I would not say, wow, that was a dominant defense.
No, it was one of the worst defenses.
It was one of the worst in the league, and so that's when you're comparing and contrasting those two. I mean, T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, Alex Highsmith gets back. Those dudes are so mean. I mean, just mean.
They are mean men.
They want to beat you up physically. They're going to let you know about it. So I think Russ is going to continue to get better. Right? I saw some that
he can only get better.
I was really, and I agree. He's going to continue to get better. They're going to continue to lean on Najee Harris. They're going to start getting healthier up front again. I don't know. I think the Steelers, man, they're just a conundrum, but I do think you're right. They're probably teetering on the brink of it's either going to skyrocket, everything's going to come together, or it's going to be a house of cards and collapse here in the next 2-3 weeks.
And they kind of, I'm not going to lie. They excited me a little bit. I saw Justin Fields in there. Did you see, by the way, he got fucking smoked.
Well, then he slid early.
And they didn't get the first down. And I was like, you had what? Hey, guess who else did? Your favorite Aaron Rodgers did. And then he got up like, wait, no, I was over here. I slid over here.
Yeah. We're on the Steelers right now. Stay in your lane.
Way to go. Anyways, my point exactly. We all have the same agreement on this, and this is one of the things that it's like when I look at this team, I'm like, dude, one of your tight ends is 6'9", 400 pounds. Why do we not throw it to him every 3rd and 6? Like, hey, stick route, just stick it, and it's going to be really high. Jump, okay. there's so many easy answers at times that I'm like, why are we kicking another field goal? What the fuck are we doing? This is not going to last in January. This is not how we win football games. The defense I love. There's no question. But that's why I said this reminds me of that Vikings team where everybody was looking at it like, dude, they're not going to do well. And you're like, and I was like, they're going to be fine. Come on, trust in them. I just can't trust in this team. 6 field goals. This isn't the first week we've had to kick 6 field goals, guys.
I feel you, but here's something crazy, all right? Like, obviously, compared to the Ravens offense on the season, there's no comparison. The Bills offense can put up 35, 40 points. The Steelers have scored 7 fewer points through 10 games than the Chiefs. So those offenses are basically even. And yet the Steelers' defense through 10 games has allowed 30 fewer points than the Chiefs. They both played 10 games, and they're going to play each other on Christmas if Netflix can figure out how to do a live sporting event. Which
and it doesn't fucking crash on me this time. Jesus.
Ridiculous.
What a joke.
But give me your guys' impromptu right now AFC confidence rankings
in teams.
Yeah, like
for
your
what,
confidence
playoffs?
In a team making a run to the Super Bowl.
Chiefs 90%, Bills 80%. I think the Ravens would be around 80%.
So all 3 of those definitively above the 8-2 Steelers.
Yeah, I'm telling you. That's why I look at this offense and I go, I can't trust in this. It's going to face some really good defenses, like its own defense. Like that's what every defense is in the playoffs. They are all built like the Steelers. They're all mean. They're all nasty. They're all aggressive. They're going to face mask the fuck out of you. They don't care. They're talking shit. They're kicking you when you're out of bounds. They're just relentless. And you look at that and you're like, hey, at times you're kicking field goals against teams you should be kicking the shit out of. Like, what's going on over here?
They shouldn't be kicking the shit out of the Ravens.
The Ravens are ranked last in passing in the league. Last, mind you. Fucking last. The Jets and all the other teams are ahead of them. All the other teams that suck are way ahead of them, and they're last.
So then I'll use your argument. I'll use your argument against you. Then, if that's the case for the Ravens, why do you trust that team more than you do the Steelers?
Oh, because I easily trust their quarterback way more than I do Russ. My whole problem focuses around Russ. At times we get into the Reds. Yes, I've said that. Their offense, a.k.a. the quarterback, I just don't like him. He's rolling around. He looks very spooked and panicked as soon as he gets the ball in his hands. Like he's like already like 1, 2, 3. He's through here, and I'm like, where's the old Russ? Where was the Russ that laughed?
Well, I thought we were going to see it when he did the roll. He goes to the and he like he comes and then he rolls to the sideline. I was like, oh, here it is. He's going to find a receiver in the back. Oh, interception.
Yeah, see, right there. Noise. There's my point. And once again, you can tell me that they're statistically better than the Chiefs, but you go out and ask 100 people right now who you have more faith in. Right now, and they're going to go, I don't even know who the fuck is on the Chiefs team, but if they have Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to take that team. Like, that's my whole point. But I like what they did in bringing Justin Fields in. I just don't like how in the first play they brought him in, he got yoked. And then in the second one, he slid way early, and it was like, did you not know the assignment was to get a first down? What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, if you kept that list going, by the way, and maybe this is another mic, but well, I'm tempted to put the Chargers in the top 3 or 4 right now.
I'm putting the Broncos above the Chargers.
What?
I'm putting the Broncos above the Chargers.
Oh, silence him. Silence
him. Do not silence me.
Now.
Why would you silence me?
Silence him right now.
Have you watched? Have you watched Bo Nix? Have you watched Bo Nix play the last 4 weeks?
Yeah,
this dude is on fire. This dude is on fire right now. They are hitting on all cylinders. Right, they're figuring their lives out. Bo Nix has more touchdowns thrown in the last 4 weeks than all the other rookie quarterbacks. He's making an argument for being offensive rookie of the year. Like this dude is. You want to say the quarterback situation.
I'm looking at the steak and a beer board here. There's a few that matter here.
Yes,
Jay has Bo Nix with worse numbers than 2023 Russell Wilson.
I do.
Look at you flip-flopping right now.
Hey,
but wait.
You are who you put on tape. You are who you put on tape.
Put on who had their back.
It looks like me and Alex both have Chargers 10+ wins. Well, they've got 7 with 2 months to go.
Yep.
So Jay's gonna be paying up.
I might be paying some stake in a AFC West here, but I will say I trust the Broncos right now more than I trust the Chargers.
Really?
The Chargers, dude, How many times you even heard Collinsworth? You heard Collinsworth say it last night. The Chargers will always be charging. Right?
Okay.
They had a 27-7 lead at halftime, right? And almost if Evan McPherson doesn't piss down his leg twice, the Bengals win that football game. Versus you watch what the Broncos did, and they come out and dismantle the Falcons. Dismantle them. They take the Chiefs to the point of beating them with a blocked field goal being the reason that they lose that game. I have more faith in the Broncos' ability to finish out football games and finish out the season right now than I do the Chargers.
I will say this. Give me the Chargers, but
you said it better right there. To finish out games. I'll agree with you on that. 100. And I even said, because I was at the Legion last night, shout out to the Legion and Chan, fucking love you. And everybody at the halftime was like, well, what do you think? I was like, if the Bengals come back, we're fucked, because I don't think they can keep this going, this momentum going. Like, they are a jump on you right away team, and you're like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? But they do it differently now. Like, they're using a lot of Justin Herbert's legs. All of a sudden, he sees this pocket wide open, and he's like, well, fuck it, I'm 6'6". I'm just gonna run up the, like, by the way, he looks massive running up the field. Looks massive running down.
Big dude.
Bigger than I thought, like way bigger than I thought. But then they're using him to run in for touchdowns. But then he's coming back and he's still slinging it all over. And he's finding Will Dissly up the seam. And he's finding Johnston over here on the sideline. And he's finding Lad McConkey or whatever. By the way, this tall.
Put some respect on that name.
Fuck that. That helmet is extra small and it's massive on him. It looks like a fat head helmet. And I'm like, how tiny is this kid for real? Like, if he was 6 inches taller, he would have caught that 3rd and 14. Not even kidding you. At one point, I looked at someone in the bar like, he could have been taller.
But back to the chargering thing for a second. Yeah, chargering was definitely a thing under Brandon Staley, and it was maybe a thing before that.
Don't get sensitive.
Jim Harbaugh has come in here, though, and I don't think the agreement was zero chargering forever. There's going to be a little chargering because it's a multi-year process. And yeah, that game got dicey last night. For sure, but Joe Burrow does that to teams. He's Joe freaking Burrow. But the fact, if you zoom out, this team is 7-3 with the best scoring defense in the NFL. No one thought they had weapons. Now they've got like 3 or 4 viable receivers that nobody talked about. Everyone thought Quentin Johnson was a bust going into the season. Jim Harbaugh, more than anyone, like Boone knows this. Jim Harbaugh sprinkles his Harbaugh dust on every team he joins. And boom, overnight, they are contenders, whether it's in college or whether it's in the NFL. So,
he's a motivator, dude. He's a great motivator. And he's great at teaching you what you're good at. And he's good at being like, let's just stick to what we're good at. And number one, and we always overlook this, but I've thought about this a lot recently, especially when they're winning and you're looking at this quarterback and he's kind of standing there all by himself in the backfield. And you're like, man, building his offensive line was one of the greatest things he ever did. Like having a great left tackle and then going out and drafting Joe. And then all of a sudden you have these 2 bookend tackles. And I know Rashawn had some tough plays last night, but at the same time, it's like for the most part this year, they've been really good up front, which has kept Herbert really calm and chill. And then Harbaugh can start sprinkling his little Harbaughisms in there. Like, man, you're like a dolphin, smart and giddy and cuddly. And like he's always got some weird shit he says. And you're like, what the fuck's he talking about? But then they're just on their own rhythm, right? Like, did you see the one where he dropped the ball before the game?
Yeah.
He was like, fuck. And he walked over. He was great ball. That was a great ball. That was my fault. Like, that's how he is all the time.
It's not me.
Right here. Right here. Like, that's just who he is. But you this is fun because everybody thought they were going to suck. And it's just like he goes in and he does his own thing everywhere he goes. And he's like, listen, we can do this or we can do that or we can do whatever the fuck I say. And then we're going to be good. And what makes me laugh the most is here was a defensive coordinator who had like one of the worst defenses. And now the next fucking year, an offensive coordinator takes over and they have the best defense. Like, it's just
leadership. Yeah. But on Jay's side,
you trust Sean Payton more. Yeah.
He's been there, dude. It's not like this dude. Yeah, he had Russ last year. The whole reason you're shitting all over the Steelers is the reason that they lost last year. Right? So they go out, they draft Bo Nix, they're getting their lives together, they find a rhythm. I trust the Broncos more than the Chargers right now, strictly based off the last 3 weeks.
It's a fun division. Does anyone want to fight
find a bet out of this? Somebody find a bet out of this.
Raiders. Fight for the Raiders in that division.
I couldn't never.
Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell. Yeah, pass. Nah. Even though I will say Brock Bowers is going to be an absolute stallion in this league for a long time.
He's another one that's massive.
All right, new mic. Booney, hit us with a new mic.
Here we go. These guys, they officially take the 1A spot. I'm sorry, Jay. You're right. They came out and they dismantled, and I mean dismembered, disemboweled These motherfuckers, like 7 straight scored. And I noticed too as I'm watching the game, I'm like, man, these dudes have been having some long fucking drives. Like they're almost out there. Like
It's
we're just going to
crazy.
smack them. We're going to smack them around a little bit. We're going to smack him. And then we're going to let Jameis Williams right across the middle. And he's going to fucking grab his nuts. And dude, when he did the fucking Marshawn Lynch, I died. I lost my mind. I was like, this team is so fun. And I don't care what anyone says. I still want Tannenbaum fired from ESPN because Jahmyr Gibbs, in my opinion, is the modern day Barry Sanders, and nobody can take that away from me. He is so electrifying, so fucking incredible.
Well,
I'm for it.
The injuries are sneaking up on defense again. I think I read Anzalone broke his forearm. Right, so now you're down Anzalone, you're down Aiden Hutchinson.
But you traded, so you got
Darius Smith, right? So there's some pieces there. But the addition of Jameson Williams is something I think people really need to look at.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted him in the first round, what was it, 2 years ago?
Yep.
Right? He was electric at Alabama. I mean, absolutely unguardable at Alabama until he had the ACL. He comes off the ACL, does okay, has the gambling things, getting suspended. He is the linchpin for why Amon-Ra St. Brown can be a great wide receiver.
For sure.
It goes all the way back. When you have 2 guys like that, you can't double team everybody, right? You can't, hey, we're going to bracket Amon-Ra St. Brown. Well, Williams is actually faster than him, and if he gets a step on a dude, he's gone. Right, okay, well, we're going to bracket him. Okay, perfect. We're going to put Amon-Ra here in the slant. He's going to work on a safety and just kill him. Oh, you guys want to play shell coverage? Oh, where's Laporta over the middle there? Okay, Laporta. Right. Oh, okay. You guys want to now really back off? Hey, David Montgomery, you want to score? Or Gibbs, whose turn is it to score? I honestly think when they get inside the red zone, they have okay, David scored last time. Jahmyr, it's your turn. Right. It's unbelievable how they
we need to get a fat guy touchdown here. It's been 3 weeks since we threw a pass to a right tackle.
They are so complete. Man. They're so
by the way,
complete at every position on offense. It's unbelievable.
They ran another hook and ladder. Did you see it?
Yes.
I'm obsessed with this offense.
When you're up that many points, you literally can just come off on the side field and be like, who wants to draw up the next play? Be like, oh, I used to run a hook and ladder in high school. Should we put it in? Yeah, draw it up on the board. We'll install it. We'll install it right now.
A big brother smacking his little brother around, like, go away. Go away. And then finally, after 9 times of pushing away, just knockout blow. And it was then all of a sudden next drive, go away. Go away. And it's just, they're special, man. They are so special. I am so excited to see where they go. I think they're playing the Vikings this week, aren't they? Or is that next week?
Next week, I believe.
No, the Vikings and Lions don't play until late, the last game of the season.
Who are they playing this week?
Here, let's pull up their schedule.
I mean, do they lose another game?
Well, that's why I want to know who they're playing. Well, they're going to have to go through their own division a little bit. Do they play the Packers again?
They've got here's the rest of their schedule. At Colts, home, and then 3 straight home games. Bears, Packers, Lions is going to be really fun on December 15th.
Wait.
I'm sorry, Bills.
Oh, yeah. They could definitely lose. Dude, they could definitely. Dude, even the Packers could take them.
Game.
At Chicago, December 22nd, and then they wrap at San Francisco, Monday Night Football, Week 17.
Dude.
And then home against the Vikings, who've played them the closest. Them and the Texans are the only 2 teams that have played them close.
That Texans game was perfect for them. Right? That was such a humbling, yet we won experience. Right? Hey, we played maybe our worst football game we've ever played as a group. I played horrible. We still found a way to win. Hey, let's flush it, learn from it, and just right back to being who we are. Yep. Immediately right back to who we are. Unstoppable offense. Good luck keeping up with us. They are so much fun to watch.
Okay, the box score for this game is hilarious.
Atrocious. Oh, it's atrocious.
It's so bad.
10, 14, 14.
So, first of all, Jared Goff, a perfect passer rating, 158.3.
Again.
But if I were to tell you guys, hey, so you don't know anything about what happened, but the Lions ran 43 times for a $196, and you'd be like, whoa, they just jammed it down their throats. And threw the ball for 449 yards and 4 touchdowns. Yeah, that's wild.
I think what was their total yardage? 660?
645 yards to 170. Average yards per play. So per play, the Lions averaged 8.5 yards per play in this game on 76 offensive plays. So 76 offensive plays, they only had 10 third downs. They had 38 first downs The Jaguars ran 47 total plays. The Lions had almost as many first downs.
What was their total yardage? What was the Jaguars?
The Jags 170.
They had more yards rushing than the Jags had the entire game. Dude, I'm telling you, they just beat the living shit out of them. And that's why it's so fun. Like when you watch that team, you're like, man, I feel bad for whoever they're going to play next. But dude, it sounds like their schedule is going to get a little tricky.
Well, I think it's great for them, right?
Absolutely.
They're going to be battle hardened going into the playoffs, right? They might drop a game in there, right? But I don't see any of these games where they're not favored to win. Like literally, you go through the rest of their schedule. Maybe the Bills,
Niners on the road, and Vikings are all going to be.
The Niners just lost though. They fucked it all up, dude.
The Niners.
That's a tough beat though.
But I don't think they'll be underdogs. I don't think they're going to go to
not against the Niners.
They're not going to go to Levi and be underdogs.
No,
right? They're not going to be because they've got
dude.
all their
the only team
tests
they might be underdogs.
Packers
to
at home, Bills at home, Vikings at home. Like
they're gonna. Yeah, they should.
And then the road to the Super Bowl is going to run through Detroit.
Motor City, baby.
Words that were not said for 50 years.
The road to the Super Bowl will run through Ford Field. Unbelievable.
Okay, one more.
I have one more.
I got a mic as well.
I have a mic too.
I have film with my mic.
Oh, dude, let's save yours for last because yours is really you're gonna go hard.
All right.
I want to bring this one up because I feel like this guy's made a serious comeback against your team, Jay, one of your believing teams. Anthony Richardson coming back, got the whole vibe of, hey, I got it. I won't throw that 50-50 ball as much as I did before. I promise. Dude came out fucking slinging it. Did you see the last 2 drives of that game? He actually looked like a real fucking pro. I was kind of impressed, like, okay, maybe we should bench a few of these guys more often. They start fucking around a little bit. Hey, you know what? Sit out. Where's that old guy at? Joe, get out there. I was impressed, dude. I don't know what's going on.
Well, again, they're another team that's getting healthy.
Yeah.
Right. Jonathan Taylor's getting back healthy. They're getting some of their offensive linemen back up front. So they're starting to get healthy with the Texans being where they are. Are the Colts one of your teams, Mackey, or not quite dead yet? Or where are they at?
No, the Colts are like only a game back right now of the wild card.
Yeah,
well, I mean, Houston, they're only a game back of like the division, right?
Yeah, that whole division's fucking messed
Houston's
up.
6-4.
The other team that was further down that I had on my list was the 4-6 Dolphins with a couple soft games on their schedule, not dead yet. The Colts are a game back of the wild card and like a game and a half back of the division. So definitely not dead. Colts are definitely not dead.
They're in this. Dude.
They could host a playoff game.
Yeah,
the Colts could if they win the division.
Yep.
If they win the division, they host a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
That is not outside of
no,
what
it's
could
not.
happen,
But you'd need Houston to lose a little bit,
which they are.
I mean, I'll tell you what, benching a quarterback comes back fucking throwing lasers, dude. Like he just looks so much more refined. I was like, man,
that's probably what Dable's doing in New York. Right, let's sit Daniel Jones down, let him settle, and then we'll bring him back. We'll
bring him back for a little bit. Yeah, okay.
Okay, Jay, give us your little show and tell here.
I need to understand, and Chicago fans, I am so sorry. You deserve better. How this play at the end of the game, the field goal that was kicked at the end of the Packers game, the fact it was not called a penalty is unbelievable to me for a couple reasons. Number one, you can't run over the center. Number one rule, you cannot see this guy in the middle here holding the football. Can you guys see my mouse or no?
Yes.
Yeah. See this guy right here? Mm-hmm. Can't touch him. That's a no. Let's play it out here. Second thing, Boone, you might have been in the league when this happened. Could you have pushers in the league when you were there?
When I was a rookie, you could.
So there used to be a rule where you used to be able to push the D linemen. And like there'd be linebackers standing behind these two big asses over here on the left, and they'd push them forward.
Yeah.
Both things happen on this play. They go right there, 94, directly over the top of the center, and then watch number 90 here. Push. That is 2 penalties that should have been called on this final play. This is so illegal. I mean, unbelievably, number 11, number 86.
Where's the replay assist from up above?
What are we doing? What are you looking at?
Bad spot from a yard.
What are you two idiots looking at? This guy's not even supposed to look at the field goal, and he's like, "Oh, did he make it?" Right? Like, look, that's not your job. 86. Watch what's happening up here. This is so illegal. So illegal, and they let it happen. The Bears. I'm so sorry. That shit can't
After a
happen.
Great game too.
Like,
so much
such
better.
a good game. Caleb Williams actually looked like a competent quarterback. They're going through, and to have that be that derails the whole thing, brutal.
I have a question that I will save for the dumb football questions part 2 regarding the Bears, but man, that was I almost feel bad. The franchise I don't feel bad for because they just make bad hire after bad hire and they can't sync up the timing with a new quarterback. But for 1 week, they thought they were going to party and celebrate and beat the Packers.
They were so close.
For the first time in 6 years. They haven't beat the Packers. I saw a sign. It was like 2,870 some days since they've last beat the Packers.
Insane, dude. So just one quick thing. I mentioned replay assist has become more prominent where there's somebody sitting upstairs. I don't know if they're like wearing a zebra jersey up in the press box or what, but
the neon one so you can tell who they are right away.
Yeah.
But what's wild is they will buzz down if I've seen this in games. Oh, that ball was spotted 1 yard incorrectly. That was actually a first down. Hey, replay assist. Let's just get it right. Or, hey, that receiver's foot was actually on the chalk line there. Yeah. That should have been an incomplete pass. Replay assist. Nice job. But if a quarterback's head is being ripped off via face mask, or if the center is being bowled over on the game-winning field goal attempt, replay assist guy, like, did he leave early to get like?
No, I think what it is
assist guy.
They're not doing judgment calls. They're not doing ones that are in the moment. If somebody saw it, did you see him face mask him? I didn't see it. It's like, hey, did he step out of bounds in the flash of a moment? I'm pretty sure he didn't, but they're like, yeah, no, a little bit of a toe got out. I like what they're doing. I've seen it several times. I love it. I don't want anyone to come back and be like, oh, by the way, we missed a face mask on this. Like,
see, I think it should be used for the biggest, highest leverage missed calls.
I agree.
I don't. I'm sorry. This game happens too fast. It happens way too fast.
That's the point. You're making our argument, Alex. That is the point. The game happens so fast, and when there's cameras freaking everywhere, why not call the game as clean as possible?
Because you and I both know that they would be calling holding on every play. Then they'd be like, "You were holding." You'd be like, "Motherfucker, who the fuck is watching me?"
I would.
Like you're going to do it just for the quarterbacks. That's why I'm going to save this one position group.
No,
fucking get off their nuts already. We got it. Everyone's trying to protect them. At times, one of them might eat a big claw across the face. Fucking eat it and move on. Everyone's like, did you see that? Yeah, I fucking saw it. Everybody saw it. Well, move on. Who gives a shit? That's football. That's what
it's determining the outcome of games. I hate that. I hate
quarterback got hit. How about this one? Guy gets hit. He gets landed on. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, that's a roughing the We're all looking at each other like, well, what was... Even as an offensive lineman, I go, well, how was he supposed to do it? What was he supposed to
catch himself? Like every other NFL defensive lineman has to do. I hate to tell
you, but at least one game, every defensive line gets called for roughing the passer because they fall on top of them. I'm sorry. I'm never going to get off this hill. It's how the fucking game was played. It's how it's played. You're asking a dude to run a 4.2 speed, but don't fall on him. Catch yourself midair and lightly grow off of him. And if you don't, we're going to throw a flag. And it's like,
I do agree with that. That is
but now you want to go back and go, well, go back and look at it. And it's like, why? Fucking cares. The play's over. If something happens, something happened. That's kind of how the game goes. If they affect our quarterback a little bit, now we scattered, now we spooked, now they have the advantage. But now,
dude, the blatant face mask miss this year have been unbelievable.
Could say the same thing about everything everywhere. The blatant holding calls that are missed, the blatant PIs that are missed, the blatant everything. It's how the game goes. I might be the only one that doesn't sit back and go, what the fuck? I go, yeah, that's how it goes.
But don't worry.
Replay
assist made sure that ball was spotted 6 inches further up so everyone can sleep better at night.
I feel like it makes everybody happy.
Alex, obviously,
you guys can disagree, but I feel like this replay assist at least keeps everybody happy. It makes you guys a little bit happier because they got it right, and it makes me happier because they're not stopping to check some fucking quarterback's bloody nose. I don't give a shit. Move on.
So we know how Alex feels about replay assist.
I got to take another call.
God, he's so busy today.
And we're breaking part 2 will be in dumb football questions form. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button and the like button here on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. 26,000 subscribers. Woo! Appreciate you guys. LFG.
Fucking go.